Hello, it's Gabby here for you. Before we jump onto this week's podcast, I just want to let you know about 2 ways that you can work with me. First of all, I do one-to-one coaching and I do that via Zoom, so we can jump on a Zoom call at a time to suit you. The second thing I've got for you is an online coaching course that's 12 modules that you can download straight away now. There will be a link somewhere around these podcast notes. And this is the course that I've designed, and it's got everything in it that I wish I'd have known when I finished cancer treatment and I was lost. So you can download that course now and you can start working towards making this your happiest and healthiest year ever. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you think. Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, it's Gabby here for you, and I hope this finds you well. In this week's Confidence After Cancer podcast, I'm thinking about the importance, particularly for cancer survivors, of finding your tribe, people you can connect with, people who can support you, and also people that you might want to support as well. So I've been really inspired this week. On Friday, I had a lovely lunch with a lady called Lisa Harper, and Lisa's a 19 years cancer survivor. She's a larger-than-life character. If you've seen my socials, you'll have seen Lisa in a very bright pink outfit, and it's always a joy to see her. She's full of life. She's a force of nature. And so it really uplifted me just having a quick catch-up with her. We enjoyed some lunch at my local shop, and it was a joy. And I met Lisa through an organisation called Unique Ladies, and they're all across the northwest of the UK. I think we met at the Salford branch. And again, that's for self-employed people. And I'm finding for myself, having come from corporate life, where it wasn't always the best life for me. But what I did enjoy about corporate life was the sense of community, being part of a team, having a common purpose. And I think when you're self-employed, if you're not careful, you can lose that. So organisations like Unique Ladies are really useful in bringing together self-employed people who can support each other, share challenges, celebrate successes. And it is, again, it's about finding your tribe, people who share a lot of the same values as you. Lisa, as well, is starting an organisation called Find Your Tribe Club. And she's thinking about a membership club for self-employed people with all sorts of strands to it. I'm not going to talk about that so much today, but it really resonated with me when she was talking about the importance of finding your tribe. So, as I say, I'm going to really focus in today's podcast thinking about the importance of finding your tribe after a cancer diagnosis and after your cancer treatment ends. Because when you're going through treatment, it's certainly my experience was I felt very supported. I was surrounded by people. I had the wonderful local Macmillan Centre. I had my breast care nurse. I had a full medical team looking after me. And then when I was at the end of my treatment and I was like cast adrift, that's how I felt. I felt lonely and cast adrift. So there are lots of cancer support groups that you can join. There are local groups, there are physical groups, there are a lot of online groups now as well. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the pros and cons, if you like, of joining these groups, where you can find them. But I think, first of all, I would say my experience of these groups is overwhelmingly positive. From my experience and people that I speak to, it is a relief to speak to people who've been through a similar journey to you. And I'm not going to say they know exactly what you're going through, because all our circumstances are unique and any challenge in life brings a unique set of circumstances. But for instance, just to speak to somebody else who has been through chemotherapy, to me, there's an unspoken code, if you like, of just an understanding of, we don't have to talk about how awful it was, because we both know, we've both been there, maybe not want to talk about it again, but knowing that somebody's had that diagnosis, the diagnosis in itself of any serious illness, not just cancer, can be such a shock to your system, making you reevaluate a lot of things in your life, making you question what you thought you knew about yourself. So to share a group of people like that, it to me was very, very supportive. And also, I also found at the end of my treatment, when the cancer treatment finished, for me, that was a time when I felt very alone. And a cancer support group at its best can overcome loneliness, can help you to overcome loneliness. You're not alone. There are so many people out there who want to help you, who want to support you, but also you could help them as well. And a lot of people that I know that have finished their cancer treatment find that they can get some sort of meaning, some sort of sense of purpose from helping other people. From, if you like, being an advocate, it might be just simply fundraising for your local cancer centre. It might be fundraising for research into a cancer that you've had. But people that get it, people that have walked in your shoes a little bit, not exactly, but people that have walked in your shoes, that can be such a comforting thing to realise you're not alone and you don't have to face your challenges alone. So, as I said, you can find these groups online. There's a lot on social media. The only caveat I would have if you're going to join a group is think about protecting yourself. And what do I mean by that? I mean, as in all walks of life, some of the people you might meet in these groups will be wonderful, warm, generous people who share your values, who might share your political outlook on life, who might share a lot of the things that you hold true. But some of those people may be not so much, okay? And just think about, you might meet some very strong characters, and you might meet some people who are really hurting as well. A lot of people, when they've been through a serious life event, can become quite bitter, quite angry. And so just think about protecting your own energy is the little bit of sage advice I try to give you. Where can you find these groups? Well, local physical groups, quite often you'll find in local coffee shops, libraries. There might be signs up in your doctors, at your hospital. I was at the Macmillan Centre near me, so you might find a group there. And the other thing that can be really useful, if you've got an unusual type of cancer, like I had inflammatory breast cancer, and I found a group in the UK and also found a group in America. And I found that really useful because for me, it was a scary time, and it was a time when I felt quite alone. And I think there's lots of groups that specialize in a type of cancer, but there's also things like the Young Cancer Group as well for people. Unfortunately, more and more young people are being diagnosed with cancer. So again, meeting with like-minded people who are going through a similar thing can be a really positive thing. I also know quite a few people now who have started their own group. And again, that's a wonderful thing to do. I know the wonderful Fiona Schultz, who I interviewed on my podcast last year. She's now become a medical tattooist. So she meets a lot of cancer patients in her job. But she's also started up like a lunch club where people can physically come to her. I think she's in Kent, near London in the UK. And I've heard such good reports about that group. I've not been yet. I would like to attend. One day I'll get the chance to go there. But again, if you're thinking about starting your own group, and a lot of people do this because they want to give something back, other people help them. And I found that when I was going through my treatment, random strangers helped me so much. People like my local school, people in the church were praying for me. People helped me in so many physical and emotional ways. So it is really nice to be able to give something back. But again, it's all about balance, and it's all about making sure you put yourself first. And one of the phrases I use a lot is you can't pour from an empty cup. So if you're thinking about helping other people, you need to make sure that you're in a good place yourself. You're feeling balanced, you're feeling supported, you're feeling emotionally and physically strong, because you cannot take other people's problems on if you're not looking after yourself first. And a lot of women particularly struggle with this. They may be in that role of being a mother or a manager or a good daughter or a good sister, always trying to put other people first. But this is the time in your life when you need to be a little bit selfish. That's not a bad thing. I don't say selfish in a bad way. I say it in a way of putting yourself first, of loving yourself first. And if you're an empath and you naturally are sympathetic to other people, be very careful about not taking their problems on. You know, professional therapists, counselors can be really useful in this situation. But if you're helping other people and you're not a professional, you're not trained, just be conscious of the fact that actually, can you cope with this? Is this a role that you're happy to take on without affecting your own mental health? Okay, just that little bit of caution, please. So, as I always say as well, at this time of your life, you need to be really conscious of the energies around you. So think about the people that you're spending time with, whether that's your work colleagues, whether that's your friends and family. You want to be around people who are positive, who are optimistic, who lift you up. A great support group can foster optimism and resilience. And I've seen it so many times. And quite often as well, there's a bit of dark humor in a cancer diagnosis. And if you've got that good relationship with people and you can have those times, that time you laugh about things that you've been through, that can be quite special as well. But again, it's always thinking about protecting yourself first and making sure you're ready for that interaction with other people, with people who get it. So I would say for some people, joining a group or starting a group is a great way to find purpose and making sense of the difficult times that you've been through. What does it mean? And that's why I trained to be a cancer recovery coach. I went through some real difficult times. I felt very alone. I thought I was going absolutely bonkers at one time. I thought I was going crazy because everybody else that I had seen after their cancer either never talked about it again, or they were like super positive, running around the park in a big tutu full of beans. And I thought, I don't feel either of those things at all. I feel really in a dark place. So for me, training to become a cancer recovery coach and a confidence coach has helped me to make sense of my journey, put it in its place, and actually think, I'm not glad I got a cancer diagnosis, but actually the gifts that it's given me are priceless. The gifts that it gave me about my life, about turning away from my corporate career that I used to think meant so much to me. And my life is so much more meaningful now that I'm doing work that actually makes a difference to people, that actually helps. And also the other thing that I've recently come to value is that I've lived in my house for 26 years, but because I'm now involved in local groups, I go to a local yoga club, I've joined a local gym, I feel so much more connected to my local community. There's a local park group because we've got a beautiful park here and volunteers go and help keep the park nice. And so I feel so much more connected than I did when I was in my corporate job, just getting in my car and driving far away and being really important in my corporate job. And that means so much more to me now. So I hope you can relate to that. The other thing that I would just say to you about some of these cancer groups, and I've seen this on some of the social media groups, just beware the victim, because some people really don't want to feel better. Some people enjoy their misery story. Some people enjoy the little bit of a pity party that they're getting from being a cancer patient or being a victim. And there's no judgment here. We've all got our own journey to go through, but just be careful of those people draining energy from you, because if somebody is really playing that part of the victim, it might just be a bad habit that they've gotten into. If you're not a professional person to help them turn that around, just be careful that that victim mentality isn't influencing you, because you're not a victim, you're a survivor. The minute you get your cancer diagnosis, you are officially a cancer survivor. And remember that, my love, you are stronger than you think. So I think, particularly for thinking about the time we all went through in 2020, when we lost that power of community, we lost that connection with other people. For some people, the repercussions of that are still ongoing. Some people are still struggling with building relationships, not comfortable being around other people. That doesn't have to be true for you. You can build your community, find your tribe, make sure it's full of positive people. You know, none of us are, even myself, I'm not positive 24/7, but on the whole, please surround yourself with people who uplift you, people who are optimistic, and people who can help you have hope for the future. And that's what Confidence After Cancer is all about, having hope for the future, putting in place a plan for your happy and healthy future self. And that's what I'm here for. So as always, please get in touch with me if there's anything you'd like me to help you with. I'd love to hear from you. Have an absolutely wonderful week. Remember to protect yourself, stay safe, stay sane, and I'll speak to you very soon. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.